If you're like me and enjoy shooting a lot of film and a lot of different film cameras, chances are you might have one of these laying around or might be looking to pick one up. So this is a Zeiss Nettar. I believe it's the 517. This is a folding medium format camera. So it shoots 6x6 120 film. And when you open it up, here's what the camera looks like. And it's all good and it's all dandy. When you look through the viewfinder, all it is a piece of glass. You can't figure out how to focus. Like, you can't see focus through this viewfinder here. The way you focus it is if you look at this front ring here. It has your distance scale. Let me make sure I'm seeing what you're seeing. It has this distance scale of meters, and here is how you focus. So the needle, you line up with how many meters away your subject is. Take the picture, it's in focus. Now you might be thinking, well, what if I don't know how far away my subject is? That could potentially present a problem, and there's been a few cases where I misjudged the distance, and I had a slow film, so the maximum aperture of this lens is 6.3. So if you're shooting ISO 100 or 50 on a cloudy or dark day, 6.3 and like 1/25 of a second is all you got. So you have to make sure to absolutely nail your focus or you're going to be disappointed. Because this has some really sharp negatives, really sharp results, even at 6.3 with some slight vignetting. However, so now you're asking yourself, how do I figure out my focus? There's a few different ways. If you're working, say you got a studio, right? Or you're outside where a picture you're taking is stationary. It's not going anywhere. You can take a tape measure and measure out from where the camera is to your subject. Figure out from feet to meters what it is, unless your camera has feet and meters, or unless you have a meter or a tape measure that's in meters. Don't matter. Convert it, and then you'll get close enough to nail that focus. Say you're walking around the street doing some street photography, and you want to have a picture. You want to take pictures while people are moving or something, like through the windows. There's no way you're going to stop on the street, grab your tape measure, and measure. That's not practical. So what you want to do for this next method is you want to use a higher ISO film, like 400, 800, sometimes 200 if you're in like Texas or somewhere where it's always sunny. Maybe 200 might work for you. So if you look at the front of this lens here, it has these different markings. So we're going to be using something called scale focus, and we will set our camera to, let's say it's really sunny out and we're using f/16. So we'll set the camera to f/16 and with 1/75th shutter speed, and then we'll line up our infinity to the end bracket of f/16. So we have infinity from f/16 all the way to about, I'd say, 2.5 meters. So everything from 2.5 meters to infinity will be perfectly in focus. Now, the one caveat you run into with this method is if you're taking pictures of something really, really close. Like, if we're using f/16 again, I have from 1.2 meters to 2 meters in focus. So that's like probably 1.5 to 2 feet, maybe. It's just a very small margin that's going to be in focus, and the rest you're going to lose focus. Which, if you're taking pictures of something not really close, you can't afford to miss that shot. You only got 12 shots. One option, use your feet, back up, take a picture from, say, 3 feet or 5 feet where everything's going to be in focus. If you want to do some creative photography, this method isn't going to work. Which we go to our next method. If you carry a DSLR with you, or an SLR, like another film camera, every lens has the focus scale, right? So SLR and DSLR. With a rangefinder, you're going to run into issues. So all you do is you put your lens on your body, on your camera body, and you focus on that object that you're trying to take a picture of. So if I'm trying to take a picture of this wall here, I'd stand here with my DSLR or with my regular film camera, and I would focus just right here on this wood here. I'd focus on this wood to make sure it's perfectly in focus, which we'll say, let's say is 5 feet, right? This is perfectly in focus. And then we look on top and, oh, that's a little under 2 meters. Okay, then I stand in the same place with my film camera and I set the focus to 2 meters. And by that logic, you will have this right here in perfect focus. Right there. But, however, if you're outside, I've been outside once and I want to take a picture of this tree branch with this. Stood on the ground, focused it, got the camera up, and I was like, oh, well, I just need to take one step back just to get it framed up right. Boom, not in focus anymore. So if you're using this method, you want to shoot at a little wider apertures. Like I would say, don't shoot wide open. Like 6.3, no way. 8, 11, 16. That way you have room, just in case you err in your measurements, you still have room that would back you up should you mess up. That way it's still going to be in focus all the time. And those are just some of the ways that I've figured out ways that I can use this in public, in almost any circumstance, and get nearly perfect photos. My go-to is sunny 16. If you don't know about that rule, Google it. There's tons and tons of material. So when it's sunny, set the aperture to f16, and then your shutter speed reverse of what you're shooting. So like if I'm shooting Ektar 100, which I am, I'd use a shutter speed of 1/100th or 75s if it's sunny out. And then all I do is set my scale to infinity at f16. So anything in focus from about 2.5 meters to infinity is in focus. So you could take this on the street and take a picture as long as you're like 6 or 7 feet away from someone, I think. Yeah. 6 to infinity feet away from someone, your pictures are going to be perfectly focused. And hopefully you get some more enjoyment out of your camera because of this, because once I figured this out, I've used this camera so much more. I've shot more rolls of 120 film through this thing than any of my other cameras, and I really enjoy it. So those are just some of my secrets to help you enjoy your folding medium format camera as well. Hope this helps you guys.